All right, let's unpack this. I've spent some time sifting through a stack of sources on a recent event that truly sends shockwaves around the world. We're talking about the tragic Air India Flight 171 crash. And honestly, the more I read, the more layers there seem to be. Our goal today is really to go beyond the headlines, help you cut through some of the noise, and, gain a truly well-informed perspective on what happened.
Yeah, and what's really fascinating here, right from the get-go, isn't just how quickly it all unfolded. It's the profound questions this incident immediately posed, particularly for global aviation safety. Our mission for this deep dive really is to help you grasp not just the immediate facts, the what, but why. Why this particular event is so significant, especially considering the aircraft involved.
You've definitely seen the headlines, I'm sure, but we're going to delve into the very specifics here. We're talking about Air India Flight AI 171. It was a Boeing 787-8 registration VT A and B. So on June 12th, 2025, departed Ahmedabad, heading for London Gatwick. That was around 1:38 p.m. Indian Standard Time. And it was tragically quick, wasn't it? Just shortly after takeoff.
Incredibly quick.
At a surprisingly low altitude, something like 625 to 825 feet, the crew declared a mayday. They reported immediate power loss and, well, thrust issues.
Yes, it was indeed. And that immediate sequence is crucial. When a crew declares a mayday, that's the international distress call. It means immediate danger to life. It tells you instantly they're facing something incredibly serious, a grave emergency. And the sheer scale of the tragedy, it's just striking. All 242 people on board, that's 230 passengers, 12 crew were involved.
Everyone.
Everyone. And what really stands out here, what our sources emphasize, is that harrowing detail. Only one passenger survived. A British-Indian businessman, Vishwash Kumar Ramesh. He survived, yes, but even then, think about that. The sources say non-life-threatening injuries physically, but...
The psychological burden must be immense.
Exactly. It raises these profound questions, not just about the physics of surviving such an impact, but the unique burden on a sole survivor, and just the unpredictable nature of fate in these catastrophic events.
And it wasn't just contained to the flight, was it? The impact on the ground was equally devastating. The plane crashed directly into a hostel and mess building, BJ Medical College in Magani Nagar.
Right into it.
At least 39 people on the ground, including medical students, tragically lost their lives, and around 60 more were injured. This incident, you might recall, it marks the first fatal crash of a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, and it's the worst civilian aviation disaster in a decade. That alone, it immediately prompts urgent questions, doesn't it?
Absolutely. That fact, the first fatal 787 crash, that's a critical detail. This aircraft type, the Dreamliner, it has an incredible safety record, truly. So an incident like this, it immediately challenges existing assumptions, the paradigms in aviation safety. It puts the entire global industry on, well, high alert.
So, okay, as we pull all these threads together, from the very minute the crew declared that mayday, what truly stands out about the immediate technical issues? And how did those cascade so quickly into such a devastating human cost?
Well, it's complex. What we've learned about the aircraft itself is quite interesting. Air India had confirmed, apparently, a spotless maintenance history for this specific Boeing 787-8, which sounds almost unbelievable given what happened, right?
It does.
But the right engine, it had only been newly installed back in March, just a few months prior, and the left engine had been serviced in 2023. So this is why the deployment of the ram air turbine, the RAT, as it's known in the industry, is such a key piece of information.
Right, that's the emergency backup power.
Exactly. It's essentially a small propeller. It drops down from the aircraft fuselage. Its job is to generate emergency power if the main engines fail, or if there's a major failure in the electrical or hydraulic systems. So its activation here, it strongly suggests, well, it points towards potential dual engine failure, or maybe a catastrophic hydraulic failure, which, is an extremely rare and incredibly severe scenario in modern aviation.
A worst case kind of situation.
Pretty much. And that's why the investigation, which has international support, from the UK, the US, Boeing, GE, it's now laser focused. They're looking at engine thrust, the takeoff configuration, the landing gear position, possible stalling. They're analyzing every single byte from the recovered flight data recorder and the cockpit voice recorder. Those are the crucial black boxes, capturing everything from engine performance data to the actual sounds and conversations in the cockpit.
That level of technical detail they're digging into, it's incredible, really trying to peel back the layers on exactly what went wrong mechanically. But as you mentioned earlier, the human stories that emerge from our sources are, well, they're equally compelling, perhaps even more so. Beyond the stark numbers, what were some of the most striking human accounts you found? The ones that really highlighted the profound impact of this crash?
Oh, the human element here is it's heartbreakingly central, isn't it? You take Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, the sole survivor. Our sources talk about the immense survivor's guilt he's grappling with, and the fact that he bravely carried his own brother's coffin. I mean, that's a weight that's just unimaginable for anyone.
Truly awful.
And then there's that poignant story, you might have seen it, of the police inspector. He rushed to the college, absolutely fearing for his son who studied there, only to find him safe. Those are just glimpses, tiny glimpses into the massive ripple effect of a tragedy like this.
Yeah, and it really speaks volumes about the community's response, too, how quickly things happened on the ground.
Yeah.
We saw reports of critical blood donations just pouring in almost immediately, massive emergency relief efforts kicking off. And significant compensation was quickly announced by the Tata Group, which, of course, owns Air India now. It really highlighted the widespread impact, but also how quickly a community can mobilize in the face of something so horrific.
Absolutely. That immediate community reaction is often a powerful, if somber, part of these stories.
And Air India's decision, that temporary 15% cut in their long-haul wide-body flights, that's not just a corporate spreadsheet decision, is it? It reflects a deep ripple effect, perhaps of distrust, maybe just caution, but certainly the immediate pressure on an industry where the perception of safety is absolutely paramount.
It is. Safety is everything in aviation.
This single event, it feels like it could genuinely redefine how airlines approach even, minor maintenance issues or pilot training maybe on a global scale.
It certainly could. Which brings us to a really important question, one for you, the listener, to consider. Given that this is the first fatal crash of a Boeing 787 and the worst civilian aviation disaster in a whole decade, what long-term changes or perhaps new safety protocols do you anticipate might emerge from this tragic event? Think about it. How could this single incident reshape global aviation safety standards to try and prevent future incidents of this magnitude? What needs to happen next?